Hi guys, this is Alex. I'm contributing for Stable Unit, and in this video I will explain what I was working lately. And this is S function dividends. And what's the problem here? Like when we have a CDP based model, stablecoin, so CDP stands for collateral deposition, and let's say you put some ETH into like deposit, and you put one ETH, which is currently worth around $3,000, and you as a user able to borrow, let's say, $2,000 worth of a stable unit money, whatever you call it. And it's cool what you're able to do that, but by itself this will be just as a MakerDAO DAI, which is great. It's super stable, it's very resilient against economical fluctuations, but it would be better if protocol will share profit with every user, right? And the problem is when you do it. So how stable unit model is able to achieve that, whereas like a four source of profits here in the system. One of them is Forex, because coin is able to be denominated not in dollars but in euros, and everything else what is supported by Oracle. Second one is loan interest. Third one is liquidations. It's loan and liquidations kind of common source of profit for MakerDAO DAI, for example. And a fourth one is collateral staking. So basically when a system has let's say $10 million worth of collateral, we know that on average most of this collateral would be staying idle in a contract, so it's actually makes sense to put part of this collateral and restake it in something like a YEarn, right? This collateral, and this YEarn would earn some profit on top of this money and will return it back as a protocol profit. And 50% of this protocol profit would go back for users as dividends. But the question is how you would pay these dividends, because if you would do some airdrops once for a while, I wouldn't even go deeper how exactly we pay right now, but the question is when you pay it. The problem is this. So if you have, let's say, this 2000 SUM money, and here on a horizontal you have a T, like a timeline, and you don't know in advance when those profit generation event would happen. So you don't know when people would swap dollars and euro, you don't know when people would able to return the loan, or loan get liquidated, or when this income transaction from YEarn would happen. While YEarn would earn you continuously profit, it will go in the system discrete one by one, because someone have to sign a transaction, and you don't know in advance. Well, you can design it what it will happen, it's like once a day or once a week, but it's less optimal when you would have the so-called lazy execution of transaction. You would kind of withdraw profit only when needed. And in order to kind of, if you would pay those dividends immediately, let's say in this moment you'll like in vertical would be amount of profit, right? And if you would pay it like here this amount, here this amount, this amount, so it's kind of like a random process. You don't know in advance. And if you take derivative of this value, it's kind of like speed with what you receive as dividends, also known as APR, like kind of immediate APR, like let's say what is your interest rate, but on a scale of 1 minute, and you move this like time frame smaller into like 1 nanosecond, doesn't matter, 1 block, and you see what is immediate speed of receiving dividends. You will see what, despite an average it might be, I don't know, like 10% APR, where on a small scale it would be like 0.00000, so no profit generation event, 0.000, boom, like plus 100,000%, and afterwards 0.000. This is kind of cool, but because like in average it doesn't matter how this profit would be distributed, but it creates a certain surface of attack, because you as a potential attacker, able somehow anticipate when these big events would happen, because like very lot of tools how you can exploit your system. And what you can do, like before this, you will just borrow money, you will receive your dividends, and you will return it in a different lending protocol, in stable unit itself, or any other. So you can mitigate it by have a special like borrowing prevention, which like you can entrance fee borrow and stuff like that. But I think it would be very unfair for people who would have, let's say, I don't know, 1 day long loans. So what we do instead, we do a certain extrapolation that you able to anticipate what would be your average APR, let's say 10%. And instead of like when money comes in the system, instead of paying it instantly, you would do instead like you would like let's do in our like graphic. So here on a x on a y you will have on the y axis you will have a money, and on the x axis you will have a time, and this vertical column would be total amount of a profit the system received. So let's say this, after that you get this big column this, and like here a little bit, here a lot, here a lot again, and here many. So like if you see this is graphic only goes up because profit only goes in the system, it never leaves, so you cannot suddenly get less stable units. And if you do this like kind of like stair, so this kind of like vertical cliff, exactly like super steep APR, and afterward it's 0 APR. So what you can do instead, you can draw a line just below this kind of stair, just like this, and convert your kind of like stair APR into linear APR. It means like instead of like a 000 APR plus 100,000 million bazillions APR afterwards 0, you will have very smooth like constant APR, which is super convenient because you don't have a surface attack. It's easy to predict in any moment, so a lot of benefits. But the problem is you don't know in advance what this kind of APR have to be. I mean, you can anticipate maybe it will be, I don't know, 10% APR, but you don't know in advance. So in order to discover it, like when you receive some money, you'd say you fix some time frame, let's say 1 week, and you would like to smooth these profit kind of like income events on a scale of 1 week. And if you do it instead of like one vertical linear, but instead of you will use S function. So let's say you have to get line from this point to this point, and if you go draw the line, you have to in advance know how, like when it stops. But instead of this, you can just do this algorithm. You start very low, and afterward you go faster, and if you know where you have to stop, you will just do this. So with S function have a benefit what you're able to kind of steer it without changing its kind of smooth property, and APR would just looks like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very fast, and afterward go lower again. So this kind of like S function thing able to pay this kind of profits in a little bit self-discover manner. You can say that. So instead of these steps which has a surface of attack, or instead of like linear APR which has a problem of you have to predict what your expected APR would be, you can just do this, and it's kind of like self-discovered APR function embedded in ERC20 token. And this is, I think, like cool. I haven't seen any other project, and like yeah, so this is one of the things I was like working in the past weeks. So just as a little video update, I hope it helps. And if you have any other thoughts how the distribution of parts of a system profit can be implemented, please let know in any of the chats. Happy to discuss it, or any other contributors of a stable unit.